Okay, good morning. Our next chapter is square and square roots. In this chapter, we'll be discussing about a square number and also we'll be discussing about square roots and different methods which are involved in finding out the square roots. Right. So first of all, we start with the definition of a square. A square of a number is the product of number with the number itself. It means a square of any number is the product of that number by the number itself. Suppose we have to find the square of this x, so we'll be multiplying x 2 times. X into x will give the square of this number x, which is equal to x square. Okay, let's take an example. 4 square is equal to 4 into 4. This gives 16. Similarly, 9 square is equal to 9 into 9. This gives 81. So we say that the square of 9 is 81. Now the next thing is perfect square or a square number. A square number is also called a perfect square. We define a square number as any natural number is called a perfect square or a square number if it is the square of some of the natural numbers. Okay, any number is called a perfect square if it is square of some natural numbers. Suppose a square of 1 is 1 only, so 1 is also a perfect square. Similarly, 4 is square of 2. If you multiply 2 and 2, it gives 4. It means 4 is a perfect square or a square number. Similarly, 9. If you multiply 3 with 3, it gives you 9. So 9 is a perfect square or a square number, and so on. So you can say that any number which will multiplied by itself gives the result, and the result is called a perfect square. Okay. So conversely you can say that we are able to find the square root of a perfect square number only, right? That we'll see the second half of this chapter. Okay, now let's work on some questions from the exercise 3a. First question says, using prime factorization method, find which of the following numbers are perfect square. Now the number is 441. We have to check whether this number is a perfect square or not, and that can be checked using prime factorization method. So first of all, we start the prime factorization method for 441. Now we'll start with 3 because this number is divisible by 3. After doing this prime factorization, we find that 441 can be written as 3 into 3 into 7 into 7. It means 3 into 3 can be written as 3 square and 7 into 7 can be written as 7 square. This can also be written as 7 into 3 power 2, because when bases are different and powers are same, we can simply multiply the bases by keeping the same power. So this will give you 21. Now you can see that this 441 is a square number, because when we multiply 21 with 21, the result is 441. So this proves that this is a square number or a perfect square number. Okay. Next, 11,025. Similarly, we'll factorize this. We'll do the prime factorization for 11,025. On prime factorization, on doing the prime factorization, we find that 11,025 can be written as 5 into 5 multiplied by 3 into 3 into 7 into 7. Means this can be written as 5 square, 3 square multiplied by 7 square. That again can be written as 5 into 3 into 7 power 2. And the product of these three numbers will give 105. So this number can be written as 105 power 2. It means this is 11,025 is a square number. And when 105 is multiplied by 105, then it gives 11,025. Okay, thus 11,025 is a perfect square number. Moving to second question. Second question says that so that each of the following number is a perfect square. In each case, find the number whose square is the given number. Okay, so first of all, we have to check whether the number is a perfect square or not, and after that we have to find the number which when multiplied by itself gives the given number, and that can be found out by using prime factorization only. So first on doing the prime factorization for 1225, we get 1225 is equal to 5 into 5 into 7 into 7. That can be written as 5 square multiplied by 7 square That again can be written as 5 into 7 5 into 7 power 2, that is 35 power 2. So we can say that 35 is the number whose square is 1225, and this 1225 is a perfect square number. Okay. Next question is 8281. Similarly, we'll do the factorization. On doing the factorization, we get this one. These are the factors of 8281. So 8281 can be written as the product of their factors as 7 into 7 into 13 into 13 equal to 7 square into 13 square, and that gives 7 into 13 power 2 equal to 91 square. Thus we can say that when 91 is multiplied by itself, it gives 8281. It means 8281 is a perfect square number, and 91 is the number whose square is 8281. Understood? Okay, next question says that by what least number should the given number be multiplied to get a perfect square number? In each case, find the number whose square is the new number. Okay. So we have been given this number 3675. First of all, we'll factorize this number and we'll try to find out which number is which factor is not in pair. So in order to make that factor into a pair, we have to include the same number. So that is the number which should be multiplied to the given number in order to make it a perfect square. Okay, that number will give the answer. Let's see. So on factorizing this number 3675 using prime factorization, we have 3675 equal to 5 into 5 into 3 into 7 into 7. That can be written as 5 square into 3 into 7 square. You can see that 3 is not in pair. It means we have to include another 3. Since the question asks you to multiply a number, we'll be including a 3. We'll be multiplying the given number by 3 in order to make the given number a perfect square. Thus, to get a perfect square number, the given number should be multiplied by 3. Okay. Therefore, the new number obtained will be 5 square into 3 into 3 into 7 square. Once we include another 1 3, that this can be written in this form. It means 5 square into 3 square into 7 square is equal to 5 into 3 into 7. That gives 105 square. Okay. Therefore, this is the number which should multiplied by itself gives a perfect square number. Now we have to find the perfect square number. So perfect square number can be found out by multiplying 3 in this. So that gives 3675 multiplied by 3 is equal to 11025. Thus 105 is the number whose square is 11025. Similarly, let's check out a question which is based on division, that is, by what least number should the given number be divided to get a perfect square number? In each case, find the number whose square is the new number. In the previous question, we saw about multiplication, where we multiplied a number which was not in pair. Similarly, in this question, we'll be dividing the number which is not in pair. Suppose any number is not in pair, so that number will be removed by dividing. Okay, so first you find out factors. So on finding the factors of 1575, we get 1575 is equal to 5 into 5 into 3 into 3 into 7. That can be written as 5 square into 3 square into 7. We see that 7 is not in pair. It means 7 is the number which will be divided, which will be actually removed from this group. If you remove 7, then the given number will be a perfect square. So this given number will be divided by 7 in order to make it a perfect square. Thus, to get a perfect square number, the given number should be divided by 7. Okay. Therefore, the new number is equal to 5 square into 3 square. Since we have removed 7, so it is left with 5 square into 3 square. That is 5 into 3 whole square, which gives 15 square. Okay. Hence, the number whose square is new number is equal to 15. Understood? Okay, let's discuss some properties of square numbers. First property says that any number ending in 2, 3, 7 or 8 is never a perfect square. So just by checking out the unit place digit of a number, we can say that the given number is a perfect square or not. Okay. For that, you have to just check unit place digits, and if the unit place is having 2, 3, 7 or 8, you can easily say that a number is not a perfect square. Okay. Now second property says that a number ending in an odd number of zeros is never a perfect square. Okay. Any number which has odd number of zeros, such as 160, it is having 10, it means odd number of zeros. Similarly 4000 is having 3 zeros. 3 zeros means odd number of zeros. So any number which has odd number of zeros, they are not a perfect square. Third property says that if a number when divided by 3 leaves a remainder 2, then also it is not a perfect square. Okay, so you divide any number by 3, and if the remainder is 2, then also that number is not a perfect square. Fourth property says that if a number when divided by 4 leaves a remainder 2 or 3, then it is not a perfect square. Any number which is when divided by 4, and if it leaves remainder of 2 or 3, then the number is not a perfect square number. So these are the examples. Next property says that the square of an even number is always even, and also the square of an odd number is always odd. Seventh property says that the square of a proper fraction is smaller than the fraction. If you square any proper fraction, then the squared number will be smaller than the given number. So in this case, let's talk about 2 by 3. Once you square this 2 by 3, it will give you 4 by 9. But this 4 by 9 is smaller than 2 by 3. Okay, just by comparing, you can find out that the square number is smaller than this given fractional number. Next property says that for any every natural number n, we have n plus 1 whole square minus n square results in n plus 1 plus n, means 2n plus 1. Okay, so any number if it is in this form, any number if it is in this form, n plus 1 whole square minus n square, then we can simply solve that number using 2n plus 1. You can see in this example, this is 36 square minus 35 square. This number is in the form of n and n plus 1. This is n plus 1. If this is n, this is n plus 1, because once you add 1 to 35, this gives you 36. So if the number is in this form, then you can usually this rule to find out its value. The rule says that 2n plus 1, 2 multiplied by n plus 1, n is 35. If you multiply 2 with 35, this gives 70, and plus 1 means 71. 71 is the answer. Okay, the sum of first n odd natural numbers gives you n square. Okay. Okay, 10th property is about Pythagorean triplets. This property says that three natural numbers m, n, p are said to form a Pythagorean triplets m and p if they satisfy this condition, that is p square is equal to m square plus n square. If they satisfy this condition, then they are called as, or they are known as, Pythagorean triplets. Okay, so for any number, any natural number which is greater than 1, we can have 2m, m square minus 1, m square plus 1 as the Pythagorean triplets. Okay. Next property says that between two consecutive square numbers, n squares and n plus 1 whole square, there are 2n non-perfect square numbers. Okay, now let's check out some questions from exercise 3b. First question says that give reason to show that none of the given numbers below is a perfect square. This number is 5372, means 5372. As we can say that according to the property, any number which ends with 2, 3, 7 or 8, they are not perfect squares. Since this number is ending with 2, it means this number is not a perfect square. So this will be the reason, since 5372 is ending in 2, therefore 372 is not a perfect square number. Okay. Second question says, which of the following number are a square of the even number? 196. First you find out prime factors of 196, and you just find out the number whose square is this given number. If that number is even, then the answer is correct. Answer is So on doing the prime factorization, you find that 196 can be written as a product of prime factors as 2 into 2 into 7 into 7. So that gives 14 square. It means 14 is an even number. So we can say that 196 is the square of an even number. Okay. Similarly, we can try out for 441. When you factorize this number, it gives you 3 into 3 into 7 into 7 as the product of prime factors. On doing the multiplication, we find that this results in 3 square multiplied by 7 square. That in turn gives you 21 whole square. Now since this 21 is an odd number, so we can say that this is not a square of an even number. Means 441 is a square of an odd number, right? Okay, write the Pythagorean triplets whose smaller number is 6. As we have already discussed that the condition for Pythagorean triplets is 2m, m square minus 1, m square plus 1. Out of these three number, the smallest number is this 2m. So in this condition, we have been given the smallest member of this Pythagorean triplets. Means the value of 2m is given. From this value, we find out the value of m, and then we find out the value of m square minus 1 and m square plus 1, right? So given 2m is equal to 6, therefore m is equal to 6 by 2 is equal to 3. Therefore m square minus 1 is equal to 3 square minus 1 is equal to 8. M square plus 1 is equal to 3 square plus 1 is equal to 10. So these are the Pythagorean triplets, 6, 8, 10. If you try to find out the condition, find out whether these are satisfying the condition of the Pythagorean triplets or not, you can just check it out. It means 10 square is equal to 6 square plus 8 square. If they follow the condition, then only they are Pythagorean triplets. But these three triplets follow the condition, so they are Pythagorean triplets. Okay. Now we'll see there are two methods for finding out the square of a given number. First method is column method and second method is diagonal method. Okay. Now we'll see different steps which are involved in finding out the square of a given number using these two methods. First we'll discuss with the column method. The following steps are involved. First step says that make 3 columns, first, second and third, headed by a square, 2ab and b square respectively. We'll just solve some questions based on these rules or methods or steps, then it will be clear. Second step says that in column 3, underline the unit digit of b square and carry over the 10th digit of it to the column 2 and add it to the value of 2 into a into b. Okay. Third step says that in column 2, underline the unit digit of number obtained in step 2 and carry over the 10th digit to it to column 1 and add it to the value of a square. Step 4 says that underline the number obtained in step 3 in column 1. The underlined digit give the required square number. Now let's check out example. Check out these steps with example. First question is 47. In 47, you have to take tens place as a and units place as b. Now we have to make 3 columns according to the step 1. Okay, for a square, for 2ab and for b square. Now the next step is to find the value of b square. Okay, we start with b square, not a square. First we'll start from right side. So we find the value of b square. Since the value b is 7, so the value of b square is 49. Okay, now you have to mark underline the unit digit of this 49. So unit digits of this 49 is 9. We'll be underlining this 9, and this 10th next digit will be carried over to the left side number, that is 2ab, and it will be added there. Now we'll find out the value of 2ab on putting the values of a and b in this one. We find out that value is 56. Now this 4 is carried over to this 56 and added. So this gives 60. In 60 we'll be underlining the units place just as in the case of b square. Okay. So 0 is in the unit place, we'll be underlining 0. Now this 6 will be carried over to the next left side number, that is a square. Okay. On finding the value of a square, which is 16, we'll be adding this 6 from this number, and this 6 will be added to this 16 to get the value of 22. Now this 22 will be underlined, and this underlined numbers will give the answer. They will give the square of this given number. So therefore square of 47 is 2209. This was about this column method. Okay. Similarly, we have another method for finding out the square of a number, that is diagonal method. Okay. Let's understand this method by taking an example. Example is 39. We have to find the square of 39 using diagonal method. As you can see, so based on the number of digits, we actually make a table with different number of cells. Okay, or boxes you can call. If there are 2 digits, so we'll be making 4 boxes. Okay, if there are 3 digits, we will be making 3 3s are 9 boxes. Okay, after making the boxes, we will divide each box in 2 equal parts, as you can see, right? So since we have to find the value of 39 square, so this actually, you can call this as a first column, second column, first row, second column, second row. So first column will be marked as 3, second column will be marked as 9. Similarly, first row will be marked as 3 and second row will be marked as 9. Now we'll be multiplying this with this one. Okay, 3 will be multiplied with 3 and the result is 9. So 9 can be written as 0 and 9. Okay, similarly, we'll be multiplying this 3 with this 9. It gives 27. So 27 can be written as 2, 7. Okay, same steps are involved here also. This 9 will be multiplied with 3 and this gives 27, 2 and 7. Similarly, this 9 will be multiplied with this 9. This gives 81, 8 and 1. Now we'll add all these diagonals. This is first diagonal, this is second diagonal, this is third, this is fourth. Now the sum of this diagonal is 1 only. Since it is in unit place, will we mark the unit place for the answer, as in the case of a column method. Similarly, this is the second diagonal. We'll add all the digits in this one. It gives you 22. Now in 22, the unit place is 2. 2 will be marked for the answer, and these 2 will be carried over to the next number. So this is the third diagonal. So we'll be adding all the digits in this one, that is 2 plus 9 plus 2. It gives 13. And 13 will be added with 2, which is carried over from the previous number. Okay, so this gives you 15. And 15 will be just marking this 5, which is at the unit place for the answer. And now the sum of next diagonal is 0. In this 0, this 1 will be carried over and added. Okay, so the result is 1. Now all the marked digits will give you answer. Therefore 1, 5, 2, 1 is the answer of 39 square. So this is how we find out a square of given number using a diagonal method. Okay. Okay, now we'll discuss square roots. The square root of a number x is that number which will multiply by itself gives x as the product. We denote a square root of any number. Suppose the number is x, then the square root of a number x can be written as under root x. This is called under root. Okay, clearly. For example, under root 4 gives you 2, under root 3, under root 9 gives you 3, under root 16 gives you 4, under root 25 gives you 5. It means in all these cases you see that the product of these numbers gives this original number. Okay, 2 into 2 gives you 4, 3 into 3 gives you 9, 4 into 4 gives you 16, 5 into 5 gives you 25. So the square root of any number can be defined as the product of a number which when multiplied by itself gives that number as the product. Okay, now there are two methods in finding out the square root of a given number. First by prime factorization method and second by long division method. Now first we'll see the first method, that is prime factorization method. This is a simple method which involves finding out prime factors and then finding out the square roots. Okay, let's see some steps involved in finding out the square root of a number by prime factorization method. One thing it must be clear that only perfect square numbers can have a square root. Otherwise, other number will not have a square root in whole number, right? So only perfect square numbers will have square roots in whole number. Okay, first step is to resolve the given number into prime factors. Second, make pair of the similar factors. Third step is to take the product of the prime factors, choosing one factor out of every pair. Okay, let's take one example. Now, in this example, we have to find the square root of 324. First of all, we'll be finding prime factorization. These are the factors, prime factors actually. Now the 324 can be written as 2 into 2 into 3 into 3 into 3 into 3. Therefore, under root 324 can be written as 2 into 3 into 3, because after pairing the factors, we have to choose one factor out of each pair. Okay, so from 2 we have taken 1 2, from pair of 3 we have taken 1 3, from pair of 3 another 3 we have taken another 3. The product gives you a chain. So the square root of 324 is 18. Let's check out some questions from the exercise 3D. First question says, find the square root of each of the following number by using the method of prime factorization. First number is 225. Similarly, first step is to find out prime factors of 225. These are the prime factors of 225. So by using prime factorization, we get 225 is equal to 5 into 5 into 3 into 3. That gives you under root 225 is equal to under root 5 into 5 into 3 into 3. Now we have made a pair of 5 and 3, and out of each pair will taken one factor will be taken out as a square root. So from 5, pair of 5 will take out 5, from pair of 3 will take out 3, and their product will give 15. And this is the answer of this. This is actually square root of 225, right? Now the next question is 17,424. Similarly, we'll find out prime factors of this number, 17,424. So these are the prime factors. You know how to find out prime factors. So I'm not discussing this part because it has already been discussed. Okay. So by using prime factorization, we get 17,424 is equal to 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 3 into 3 into 11 into 11. Now since all are in pairs, so this again can be written in the form of square root as this one, this. Now next step is to we take out one factor from each pair. So from this pair we'll be taking out 1 2, from this we'll be taking out 1 2, this pair will be taking out 1 2, and from this one we'll be taking out 1 2 11. Sorry, this 3 and 11. Now the product of these gives you 132. This is the answer, right? Now move to next question. Find the smallest number by which 252 must be multiplied to get a perfect square. Also find the square root of the perfect square so obtain. In this question, once we find out the prime factors of this number 252, there will be one number which will not be in pair, right? So in order to make that number in pair, we have to multiply the given number with the same number. Okay, so let's find out the solution of this number. On doing the prime factorization of 252, we have 2 into 2 into 3 into 3 into 7. Now as you can see, 2 and 3 are in pair but 7 is not in pair. Okay, so clearly we have to multiply the given number by 7 only, okay, in order to make it a perfect square. Since the conditions says you to multiply, so we'll be using 7 to multiply. Okay, so it is clear that in order to get a perfect square, one more 7 is required. So the given number should be multiplied by 7 to make the product a perfect square. Understood? Okay. Now the next method is finding out square root of a perfect square number by long division method. Okay, there are some steps involved in this. Let's check out some steps, and after that we'll solve some questions from the exercise to understand it clearly. First step says that group the digits in pairs starting with the digits in the unit place. Each pair and the remaining digit is called a period. Okay, now second step says that think of a largest number whose square is equal to or just less than the given period. Okay, that is first period. Take this number as a divisor and also as the quotient. Now third step says that subtract the product of divisor and quotient from the first step and bring down the next step to the right of the remainder. Right? This becomes the new dividend. Fourth, now the new divisor is obtained by taking 2 times the quotient and annexing with it a suitable digit which is also taken as the next digit of the quotient, chosen in such a way that the product of new divisor and this digit is equal to or just less than the new dividend. Right, now fifth step is to repeat step 2, 3 and 4 till all the periods have been taken off. Okay, now the quotient so obtained is the required square root of a given number. Okay, let's understand the division method by taking this example. Find the list number. Okay, first number is 576. We have to find a square root of this number using long division method. Now, starting from the rightmost digit to the left digit, we have to make every digit. We have to make a pair. Each pair will be called periods. Okay, will be grouped actually digits in two. So first we have grouped these two, but this is without any group, so it will be marked as another period. Okay, no problem. If extra digit is there, you can group. Otherwise, if no digit is there, then you can mark only one digit for the period. Now we'll start with the first period, that is 5. We have to assume any number such that which when multiplied by itself gives either 5 or less than 5. So that is possible with 2 only. If you take 3, it becomes 9. 9 is greater than 5, so we can't take 9 or 3. So we have taken 2. Now this 2 will be the common number, will be taken as a quotient or the result. Now 2 into 2 gives you 4. On subtracting this, we get 1. And next step is to add these two numbers. We have added it. 2 plus 2 gives you 4. Okay. Now just copy the next period, that is 76. Now the next number is 176. We have to work on 176. Okay. Now similarly, we have to take a common number. The number has to be same. Okay. So once the number is taken down, this 4 will be attached to that number also. Okay. So here we have taken 4. It means it becomes 44 and 4. So in the next step, we will be multiplying 44 with 4, and that gives you 176. And this number, which has been written twice, will be taken as the quotient or the answer. Now since you can see that the remainder is 0, it means we have our answer. So the square root of 576 is 24 using this division method. Okay, now this is about this chapter, square and square roots. You solve all the questions from the exercise. You find any difficulty in this understanding any question, just contact me. Okay, thank you.